Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where last episode, Britain got caught up in this civil war and absolutely demolished our economy. It's not great. They did cut us loose, and so we're working on getting our economy into a workable state before we're forced to declare bankruptcy, which is almost certainly going to happen at this point. So this is going to take 68 weeks to build this paper mill in Indiana. Okay. I'm thinking we may want to do the livestock ranch in Michigan first. Now, we do have some production methods that we can work on. So we can go up to steel tools, which we should do, and rotary valve engines for our tooling workshops. For paper mills, rotary valve engines and paper bleaching. For the explosives factory, vacuum evaporation. So something along the lines of that. We can upgrade our urban centers. I'm not sure we want to do that yet. We'll come back to that after we're done with this building blitz, I think. We can upgrade our university. We should probably do that. There's an input goods shortage of paper. We're aware of this. So let's go ahead and do that one. And there was also one that I looked at. Yeah, it was livestock ranches, but I didn't actually do off camera. So we are going to go to slaughterhouses for more meat. We're going to go to increased wool gathering for more fabric, and then barbed wire fences. Now, this is not currently generating us. Oh, it is generating us fertilizer. Okay. So we're going to have some fertilizer there. How much fertilizer do we actually need? This should be sufficient. Okay. So this farm will get us done with the fertilizer shortage and the fabric shortage, and will drop the price of meat. So we're working on an explosives factory, so that should be fine. And then also in the private construction, there is a tooling workshop, and that is going to be very, very good as well. So that's fine. I'm going to cancel these constructions here for right now. So it's going to be something kind of like this. Okay, against the odds, huh? So, right. Enforced segregation. I don't like this. We're actually going to have the Bulgarians be more loyalist. That will be a good thing. So that looks good. We're working on getting our economy back online. We're also colonizing the rest of Minnesota over here. It's very slow. Effective native resistance, minus 75%. Okay. So that's absolutely understood for now. So we need to get this livestock ranch finished, and we need to do that as soon as possible. Now, we're going to be very negative here, financially. That's definitely not surprising. Not surprising at all. Ever-increasing influence? Okay, so this would be the United Indian Brotherhood. No, we're going to say no to that one. So this is going to be 28 months of construction time. We're going to run out of money before then, I think, which unfortunately means we're going to lose some progress on some of this construction. But this is absolutely an unforeseen circumstance, so that is understood. We have a shortage of transportation in Indiana. This should be on road carts. We do not have a level of railroad here, so that'll be fine for now. So we still have that paper and fertilizer shortage. The livestock ranches here will help with the fertilizer shortage. The paper shortage, that's just kind of going to be a thing. I don't think we can import any additional paper, so we've kind of just got what we're going to. So that's understood. I, at the very least, want to get through this paper mill construction. I don't know that that's going to happen, is the thing. We'll see. So the livestock ranch, we can definitely get constructed. And the paper shortage is absolutely going to be a bit of a problem. As you can see here, we're no longer earning recognition because our market is abysmal right now. This is not shocking at all. We should not be surprised by this. Things are rough for us at this moment because we just very abruptly got removed from the British market, and that's just expected at this point. So what we need to do at this point is we need to build our way back here, and it's going to be painful. That's for sure. We can only have so much credit here, and our GDP, not phenomenal. One thing we could think about doing, potentially, is joining Canada. So if we go into our journal here, Tech Join Canada. Tech Join Canada description. Okay, perfect. So Canada would need to enact either cultural exclusion or multiculturalism. We can't actually do anything about that. Okay. Noted. So for the moment, there's not really much that we can do to make that happen. Okay. Well, we're about to finish up our private construction on our explosives factory. And of course, we're rocking a lot of shortages at this moment. So an explosives shortage we're about to deal with. Tools shortage, that's queued up in the private construction. So that seems fine for now. So far, so good on that front. There's a grain shortage, which I'm hoping will drive some people to work in some of these maize farms, but I don't know. The fertilizer and tools shortages are giving us some problems there. So the explosives factory is going to finish now. There we go. And now this tooling workshop is currently 71 weeks until completion. Understood. Now we've got a sulfur shortage. Okay, so we can try to import some of these. We can import some sulfur from the Confederate market. We've gotten an explosives shortage. For the moment, I think our explosives factory will deal with that. We still have a tools shortage, and let's import some tools from the British market for now. Still a fertilizer shortage. That should be dealt with shortly. Can we do anything more? Yes, we can import some paper from the British market. So we will definitely do that for right now. Okay. Britain is offering us military assistance. Sure, we'll accept that. Okay, so the British reactionary revolt is over. With any luck, that now means that we can get some of this stuff dealt with. Okay, so a grain shortage. We can import some grain from the reactionary Canadian market, which apparently is a thing. Okay, that seems fine for now. And then we've still got a paper shortage, fertilizer, and tools. So tools, we should probably import right now, at least for the moment. Transportation shortage in Michigan. What is this caused by? Employees have left here, presumably to work in the explosives factory? No, not exactly. I'm not sure where these employees went from the railway in Michigan, but that is the core issue there. We just don't have the employees. So that's understood. Okay. So for now, that's reasonably fine. The Canadian reactionary revolt is improving relations, and we have a famine. Yeah, this is to be expected. So we just finished up that fertilizer and fabric producing farm. So that looks... Now this is going to take 70 weeks to replenish here. We maybe want to get this railway done first. When are we going to run out of... When are we going to hit our credit limit? Hang on. So let's see here. 647 minus 480 gives us 167 left, divided by 8.46 is about 20 weeks. Okay. So, at this time, we're at maximum taxation. Right. I think what we need is exports, and specifically, the things that we need to export is things that are low market price. Exporting sugar would be great. Let's see if we can do that. Yes, but it would all be negative. Okay. Let's see. Exporting steel is not good. Exporting wine would potentially be okay. This is allegedly all negative. I'm not sure that that actually is. I want to drive that price up a little bit. We absolutely want to export wood. 100% we want to do some exportation of this. So we'll get both of those done. That should boost up our wood price, which will be a huge, huge deal for us. Exporting some tobacco would probably be good as well. We're going to take any of these export routes that are positive. I don't think we're going to export meat at this time. We're not producing much of it. Explosives, I think, would be okay to export, but those are all currently negative. Fabric, I don't think we need to export. Fruit would be an okay export, but those are currently negative. Noted. Iron is probably an okay export. We'll do that. That puts us negative on our bureaucracy. So for the time being, we'll see what that ends up feeling like. We've got engines, fertilizer, and paper shortage. Okay. Our economy is mostly going to be struggling at this point due to the size of the people, right? We don't have enough people to really have a stable internal economy, a stable self-run economy. So that's noted. We have brought up our GDP somewhat to 362.2k. So that's something. We can continue to work on that anyway. So we want to get this railway done. That's for sure. No doubt about that. These others we're probably going to lose the construction progress on due to bankruptcy. That's definitely not ideal, but it's understood. Transportation shortage in Minnesota? Yeah, we just don't have the people working in this railway. That's understood. I'm not sure where our people are. Oh, they went to become peasants. So they all just got fired. Understood. So they'll get hired back in. At this point, our number of peasants is up to 53.1k. So obviously, we're having some significant issues here economically. This is not surprising. So we need some production or importation of paper. We'll get more importation of paper there. Tools, iron, yeah, that's all understood. Transportation shortage, sure. So the real question is, can we get this railway built? As our GDP goes up, that will buy us more time to construct. So that would be a good thing. So our GDP is slowly improving. We still have a fertilizer shortage, and I'm wondering where that livestock ranch was. Here. Noted. So we have an input goods shortage of grain. We can import more of that from the British and American markets. I'm going to do both. Okay, so for now, that's looking reasonably good. Our GDP is definitely improving. As we can see, we're up to 430 now, so that's something. That is going to further improve our debt limit. So that's good. We have a lot of things that we need to work on here, absolutely. Canada versus Canadian reactionary revolt. I mean, the unfortunate thing about that is that these are now inactive because we did have exports to the Canadian reactionary revolt. So that's understood. Now we're going to have further issues, including a tools shortage, which we cannot import more tools, and a paper shortage, which we cannot import more paper. Understood. For now, we're just going to have to deal with it. That's all we can do. So that's understood for the moment. We're interested in getting additional exports done. No doubt about that. So these are, I believe, imports here, right? Yeah, these are imports. So we're importing a lot of things at this moment. That's for sure. We're currently negative on exporting our wood after tariffs. Okay, sure. We still want to export wood. No doubt about that. So for the time being, we're getting close to finishing up this railway. We're 10 weeks away from that. We might be able to get that finished. Maybe. So we currently have some shortages here. We can import a little bit of explosives. That will be fine. We can import some more tools if we can, but we can't. Fertilizer? Yes, we can import a little fertilizer. So that looks good for now. I'm still very interested in getting some of that paper in here, but alas, there's no more paper to import at this time. So our GDP is still struggling. That's understood. At this point, we're kind of close to being positive. Kind of. But we're still going to have an issue when we declare bankruptcy. No doubt about it. We're still going to have a significant issue. So that's understood. Let's see if we can finish this railway. That would be great if we could. So to that end, I'd like to import more tools and paper, but alas, we just don't have options for that. So this tooling workshop is 45 weeks until that's completed, and we're 5 weeks on this railway. So I'm going to pause our construction once this railway finishes. I don't think we can get either of these done at this time, and I want this construction to go into the tooling workshop. So we're 3 weeks away. And then we're going to declare bankruptcy very, very shortly after that. 2 weeks away. Yeah, looks like we're going to make it on this railway in Illinois. So that looks good. We can at least get that finished. 1 week away. Okay, so the railway in Illinois is done. Pausing construction at this time. So that's going to cut our expenses somewhat, but it's not enough, right? We need to get our taxation levels back up. And we're now officially in default, so at this point, we're going to declare bankruptcy. This isn't great, no doubt about it, but we're going to do it. We were basically forced into declaring bankruptcy here. So, at this point, we are still not solvent. So that's not great, right? No doubt about it, that is definitely not great. And that also cleared the private queue. That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, that's very, very sad. I wish we could use this investment pool money a little bit better, but alas, we cannot. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to go into our institutions and we need to start working these back up. It's going to be a slow process, but we need to do that. So a transportation shortage in Minnesota. This is actually a worker shortage in Minnesota, or more specifically, this is a shortage of people being employed in these locations. We do have 14.4K peasants, but we have other issues, right? So that's understood. Paper shortage, tools shortage at this moment. So we see that currently a textile mill is what is being built in the private queue, and then another tooling workshop. Okay, noted. Looks like we did get a privatization there. So that's fine. That will keep us afloat for a while, hopefully long enough to get ourselves on our feet. That would be good. Building wine output? Yes, please. So at this point, we can start thinking about a law change. There's not too much that we want to do here, I don't think. We could go from collectivized agriculture over to homesteading. It's a theoretical option. I'm not so sure that we want to do that right now, though. I don't know. I'll think about it. For the moment, we're on migration controls. We could go to no migration controls. I don't think that's a great idea either. Not a lot of law changes that we really want to get done right now. Okay. Well, for the moment, we're still running shortages of paper and tools, and the Confederate States of America want to invest in our country. Yes, we will accept that. We'll see if they'll build like a paper mill or something. That would be cool. Question is, should we build a paper mill with the money that we built up here? Honestly, I'm leaning towards yes. Something like this. So we would do that. And then where's that going to put us financially? Minus 7.52K? Okay. Well, we can at least get started on it. We'll see how far we can get. So that looks absolutely okay for now. We're not in a great situation economically, but we are slowly improving. So that looks good. Canadian reactionary revolt is over, so I want to check here. No paper imports, no tools imports. Okay. So at this point, we're also interested in getting some of these prices back up, right? There's an iron shortage at this moment. That's noted. We're currently importing iron. So that's understood. I'd like to get rid of some of these. In fact, these that are considered net negative, I'm going to get rid of. There are some shortages that creates. Okay. We don't really produce any steel at this moment, so we need to import some of that. I believe we don't produce sulfur either. Yeah, we don't produce sulfur. So we're going to need to import a little bit of that. There's a meat shortage. We produce that. We're going to produce tools. We're going to produce paper. So that seems reasonably fine for now. We do produce some fertilizer. We need our livestock ranches to actually produce some of that. And we produce some explosives as well. So for the time being, that looks hopefully relatively okay. Of course, this is causing us major issues with our GDP, and that is absolutely understood. We're kind of in an economic crisis at this point caused by Britain, so that's understood. We're no longer at war. I don't know what it is, but it is something. And we are still growing at a reasonable clip here. So fingers crossed that we can get some of these people put to work. 49.4K, that's like 10% of our population almost. So yeah, this is a lot of people that we need to get put to work. This is a third of our workforce, right? Like, we desperately need them to get to work. So that'll be fine. We are colonizing out over here. It is slow, and building these institutions back up is going to take a very long time. That's absolutely understood, but we might have to do it again. We might have to continue constructing and declare bankruptcy again. We will see. So for now, there's still a fertilizer shortage, and I want to check in over here to see how that livestock ranch is doing. Okay, this is mostly a tooling problem, although grain is also a bit of an issue, as is iron. So if we check over at the iron mine, this is a tooling problem. Getting tools produced would be a huge deal. I would normally import some, but there are just no one to import tools or paper from other than what we're already importing. So that's absolutely noted and is a significant issue. I think we have to just continue constructing and declare bankruptcy again at this point. I don't think there's any other way around it. So that's that's going to be painful. We need to get this paper mill in Indiana done, but more than that, we need to get this tooling workshop completed in the private constructions. So it's going to take 53 weeks to get this textile mill completed. That's understood. And yeah, these shortages are absolutely problems. And we've got major standard of living issues. This is due to our taxation levels. What are we actually getting from our taxes? 1.48. If we're going to go into bankruptcy again, we need to finish constructions in order to make this worthwhile. And we have very little debt limit at this point. So that's a significant issue. No doubt about that. An engine shortage, we do produce engines, so we can definitely produce some engines with our motor industry here. That'll be fine. But we need to get some of this fundamental production finished. The main issue here, of course, is that we really need to get a tooling workshop online. 45 weeks on this. Do we even have 45 weeks of debt here? Minus 40.5 divided by 7.63. At the current rate, we've got 25 weeks of debt. Okay. That means that we need to do some imports. There's no way around it. We absolutely have to import right now. And I'd love to import tools, and I'd love to import paper. It's just not an option. And we can import some fertilizer as well. Okay, so that will help matters for the moment. Let's bring our GDP back up. And let's see, a meat shortage? Okay, we'll try to import some of that as well. Productivity is negative, but we're more interested in the GDP than productivity right now. So let's bring that back up so that our debt limit goes up. That's the idea here anyway. So currently we can see 56.3K peasants. We absolutely need to get some work done here on some of these fundamental things, particularly tooling. I really wish that we could prioritize this tooling workshop. But alas, we cannot. And the fact that the private constructions get wiped out by declaring bankruptcy as well is problematic, to say the least. So we need to bring our GDP back up. That is a significant concern at this moment. So currently paper and tools are the primary concerns. But I want to check in here. Let's see. We are definitely doing... Yeah, these are all relatively good at this moment. But what I want to check right now is, can we do more exports? We should, if we can. So exporting more things would include wine. There we go. We'll get an export route on wine. And what else would we be interested in exporting? probably tobacco. All of that would be negative. Okay. Let's see about potentially exporting some iron. I think we're importing iron right now, to be honest. Yeah, we're importing iron. So we could get rid of this trade route. That will bring up our construction costs. That's understood. The idea here is we just want to get people put to work in our iron mines, right? So that would be a good thing. Let's sort by sell orders here. So I'd like to do additional export routes of wood. Both of these. We'll export as much wood as possible. That'll be fine for now. And then we've also got a decent amount of fabric on hand. Are we importing any of this? Yes. And these are currently positive. So we'll leave those be for now. Okay. So we really need to export wood badly. But I want to drive up the price of iron a little bit as well. This is mostly caused by tools at this moment. If we could import tools, that would solve so many of our problems. We do have some tool imports here, and we can't get any more. We're importing tools from everyone. So that's absolutely understood. Previously, we were reliant on the British market for that. So, okay, we are seeing our GDP recovering somewhat here. That is a good sign. Hopefully we're seeing people get put to work in the iron mines in Minnesota. Canada wants to support our independence. Okay, sure. We've got other problems right now, Canada. So we're hiring in on our iron mines and our logging camps. That's good. That's a really good thing. We need to get people put to work. We've got a coal shortage. Okay, we should import from the British market then. There's that problem solved. Okay. So this is very spicy. There's no doubt about that. We've got 34 weeks on our paper mill finishing. That's understood. And the same amount of time on our textile mill. These are finishing simultaneously, as of right now. We need to get our GDP up, and a lot up. We need to get it a whole lot up. So that's understood. We've got a lot of work to do on that front. Mostly what we need is tools. So if we're forced to declare bankruptcy again before that tooling workshop gets finished, I will build a government-owned tooling workshop. Absolutely 100%. We're at 314 at this point, and if we look at our employment, we have gotten a number of peasants put to work. So that's a good sign, but we've got more work to do on that front. We're not running a tool shortage right now. That's interesting. It's still expensive, don't get me wrong, but we're running a paper shortage, but not a tool shortage. Now, we could potentially do something about that. We could drop down our requirement of paper. It's a theoretical option, but for right now, I want to get this paper mill in Indiana done. I'm very concerned about running out of... Hang on, this just updated, didn't it? Yes, it did. 283. Okay, so how much time do we have here before we run out? 283 minus 149 divided by 7.53. This is about 18 weeks. 17.79. That's not enough time. So what else can we do? Can we further drive down the price of tools? No. What about the price of paper? No. Anything else in here that is exceptionally high in the market price that is an important fundamental thing? Clothing. We could import some clothing. That's not a terrible concept. So that's fine for now. What else is very, very high here? I mean, still grain, but that's okay. I'm reasonably fine with that for now. I think overall, outside of paper and tools, our situation is non-terrible. So that's understood. We do need to get these people put back to work. If we can get to a point of financial equilibrium, that's what we really need right now. Our population graph is looking weird. Our number is going up, but our line is going down. Okay, this might have to do with migration out. That wouldn't necessarily be shocking. So that's understood. We need to continue to raise up our GDP at this point. So we just need to buy 22 weeks is what we need. So we need more credit limit, and that credit limit is mostly, if we look at our credit limit here, this is mostly caused by the GDP. It's a sum of all domestic cash reserves plus a base value determined by GDP. Imagine if we could utilize this money. We could pause construction here. That would mean that the textile mill finishes in this amount of time. But I'm not sure how useful that actually is. Yeah, I'm really not. So what do we have going on here? We'll let these protest. I think that'll be fine. Migration attraction would be a good thing. We need to get more people to put to work. No doubt about that. Okay, our population is absolutely dropping at this point. Should we try to rejoin the British market? Let's see if they would even let us do that. Is that even in here at this point? I'm not seeing it here. Yeah, I'm definitely not seeing it there. Okay, so let's see. It would be... Huh. These are unavailable diplomatic demands. Yeah. So I am not seeing the action here to rejoin their market. Maybe I'm missing it. Interesting. I'm definitely not seeing it there. I wonder if we could join the Canadian market? No. Fascinating. So we're kind of just on our own. Understood. I would like to do something about that, but this debt is a big problem. I just looked at the clock, though, and realized it's time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to see what we can do about maybe getting this paper mill completed. It would be really, really, really good to get this done. We need 20 weeks of debt at this point, and we just don't have it. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.